Well, more money is headed to Louisiana to help renters who can't pay the rent because of the pandemic. That's the good news.
Moving New Orleans forward anchor LBJ reports housing advocates say the state left millions of dollars on the table instead of getting it to renters who need it.
Had the issue of notice because he paid no rent for the month of December at all. He paid it sparsely in November, sparsely in October.
Charles Morrell is a landlord trying to get some relief at Civil District Court in New Orleans by serving notice to a tenant not paying rent. But many can't pay their rent, and the folks at the Greater New Orleans Housing Alliance says that some of this could have been avoided.
So, big concern that we have is the fact that we have millions of dollars in rental assistance that has just been sitting at the state level that could have stabilized households for the past 6 months.
Correct. The state of Louisiana allowed the December 30th deadline to pass on CARES Act money dedicated to housing, and we're still in a housing crisis.
People are still getting evicted despite the moratorium because they have not been able to pay their rents.
That CDC moratorium has been extended to January 31st, and housing advocates allege that the state has only helped a little over 700 of the 40,000 people that have applied for help. Clerk of Civil Court Austin Badon says that while waiting for assistance, renters should maintain a working relationship with their landlords.
What I tell tenants all the time is make sure you have some type of dialogue with your landlord to come up with a win-win situation and be able to pay either your rent or pay some partial portion of your rent.
After all, the rents will still have to be caught up at some point. Morris and other housing advocates blame a poorly designed program with antiquated controls on the state level for the lack of help.
In the middle of a global pandemic, we continue to hold on to these hateful biases about people who need help.
And Susie and Kurt, as you can see, the Housing Alliance folks aren't mincing words. We spoke to the governor's office, and their statement said in part that the state's rental assistance program has allocated assistance to over 5,772 eligible individuals. That's allocated the money for them, a total of over 13 million. Of that, 736 applicants have provided the necessary documentation needed for the payment to be dispersed. The remaining 5,000 applicants are in the final stages of completing the process. They made no mention of the 40,000 applications, by the way. This seems to support criticism from housing advocates.
All right, interesting information. Sounds like a little bit of a process as well.
Yes.
Thank you, LBJ.